Good Monday morning to ya. Hope you're doing awesome. It's your boy Zack Miller here for another edition of your favorite show. We call it Zack Miller Live. Couple of new additions to the show today. Look, I'll figure that out at some point. Look at the new logo. Look how awesome that is. Because I'm live. This is Zack Miller Live, episode 6. Super stoked to have your eyes and ears this morning. We're going to talk about the trick that led me to basically everything big I've ever done in my life. And I'm not lying when I say that. Literally everything big that's ever happened that you guys probably know about me with is because of this one trick. It's led me to hosting a TV show, being on the cover of a magazine, and an invite to the White House. And I'll explain to you each of those ways and what happened, but it's the exact same thing for each of them and how it worked. Of course, Monday morning, coffee. It's important to get that jolt. Appreciate you being with me today. So, what is the trick that led me to getting my own TV show? What's the trick that led me to get an invite to the White House, to getting on a cover of a magazine, the original and the inaugural magazine, Cova Biz? I should have brought the magazine with me today so I could prove it, but I'll show you later. But what is the trick? What do you think the trick is? In the comments below, feel free to tell me what you think the trick is. What do you think the trick is that has led me to be seen more and more and more and more? And I promise you, it's super simple. But most of you will be too afraid to even try it. What is the trick that has led me to hosting a TV show, getting an invite to the White House, and being on the cover of a magazine? Appreciate you watching so far. Dave, Rick, Kenya, Nick, and Bianca, how are you? If you guys like this, give it a like, a love, a share, whatever. So what do you think it is? What do you think the trick is? And I promise you, every one of you, each and every one of you can do this trick. So are you ready? Here's the trick. It's called raising your hand. That's it. Literally, the trick that I've used right here. Raising your hand. By raising your hand, you're setting the expectation that you want that. Not only internally, but also to the person or people or brands or business or companies. I might have already said companies, who knows? That you are ready. All right, so let's go through this. So, we'll go middle, magazine, and then to the TV show. And I'll explain to you guys exactly what I did on each of these to get it. So, back in 2011, 2012, I got an invite, or I got an email from Anish Chopra, who was the first CTO of America. And he said, hey, we're looking at starting up this thing called Startup America, where all these kind of business leaders in different areas are going to come together. Who should I invite in your area? And I raised my hand. That's literally all I did. I said, me. And the reason I did that is because I thought it would be a cool thing. I thought it would be a cool opportunity. So then I get involved, and there begins a Virginia chapter. So this thing called Startup Virginia is begun, and I become one of the 5 or 6 members on Startup Virginia. So by being a part of this thing called Startup Virginia, which was basically a way to represent and promote businesses in the Virginia area, I was able to be known by other people in different communities. And so there was the national version, which was everyone, and then there was the Virginia version. So I go on these trips and I learn about other communities. Obviously, I've helped promote the area that I live in, and I became kind of one of the members of Startup Virginia because I raised my hand. Okay. But then I get an email from the Startup America folks that the White House is looking for people from these communities to talk about what they're doing in their different communities. And they would be interested in people that would want to come. So guess what? I raised my hand again. What's up, Rebecca? Hey, Stanley. Hope you guys are doing well. Zack and Miller live. Got the new logo. You guys like that? It's a cell phone with the recording button, me and my hair, my logo. It's awesome. Thank you, Dave Ritt, for that. If you guys have questions, feel free to ask. It could be any clarification or something completely off topic, but appreciate you guys being here. So I get an email basically saying who could be a good fit for this, and most people would probably look at that and not promote themselves. Most people would look at that and probably not raise their hand. They would not say, "Hey, use me." But I looked at that and said, "Well, I like this group. I think I should be this. I should be this in this opportunity." So I raised my hand, and then because of that, and I get involved in this thing that I have no idea what it's going to look like. By the way. I raise my hand, and the White House calls and says, "Hey, we want you to be there." Or who are these people that should be here? Again, I raise my hand. So think about this: how many opportunities are in our minds, or how many opportunities are out there every day, but we don't raise our hand, and that's why we don't achieve? There's a story, I believe, in the Bible, and I don't know the verse or anything like that, but basically it's this person, or maybe it has nothing to do with the Bible, but there's a story. And it's like a flooded area or something, and this person, so like imagine like a really bad hurricane, and basically they're displaced, and they're in this kayak. And this person prays and prays and prays and says, "God, please come down and help me." And 3 or 4 times God leads them to this person, but it doesn't look the way that they think it should. So imagine like a firefighter or a policeman doesn't show up. It's like, it's something else. It's someone else, a random stranger on a boat. And so we look at this situation. This person ends up passing, I believe. And when they get to heaven or something like this in the story, they say, "God, why weren't you there for me?" And God says, "I sent someone 3 times. You just didn't raise your hand." I guarantee you that every day an opportunity comes to you and you don't do this. Literally every opportunity that's been huge in my life is because I did this. Hi. If you guys believe in this message, share it to your networks. Just simply go up to the little share button and share it to the people that follow you. Because I believe in this method, right? If you want an action to happen, you have to create that action. So there it is. Like, how many times do we sit there and say, "Man, I wish I could be in this situation, but it's just not happening"? Well, it's because you're not raising your hand. You never know what the path looks like. So I happen to be an entrepreneur. I happen to own a business, okay? And everyone's like, "Oh, it's going to be a straight line to get there." This is what that ride looks like. Actually, I should get a roller coaster picture and throw that on here. That's what I'm going to do, because that'll be more fun, right? This is literally what... I'm on the Google machine. You got to give me a second. All right. Let's find a good picture that I like. Huh. This one is it. This is it right here. All right. Because I think this is funny. All right, now I got to find it. Hold on. But literally, it looks way different than you would expect. It literally looks... Hopefully this works. This is what it looks like. That is the ride of owning a business. There's a lot of freaking loops. I mean, think about it, right? I mean, like, that's it right there. There's the loops. And over again. Yes, there's good times, of course. But that ride, it never looks the way that we want it to. Ever. We all think it's going to be one thing. Takes us down a different route. But if we don't raise our hands, guess what? We will never get those opportunities. Things don't just happen. There's a something like good things happen to people who wait, that is not true. Good things happen to people who raise their hand. That is what you have to do. I mean, seriously, right? Looks like I'm going to throw up. I mean, yes, we all would throw up, right? But it is about raising your hand. It does take you to the back to the beginning. You're right. But I mean, if you want something to happen, stop waiting for someone to literally give it to you on a silver platter the way that you think it should be. And when these opportunities come up, raise your hand. If you get an email from someone, heck, I'm going to tell you guys a little trick right now. So whenever I get like a mass email from someone who is like a company that I like, I will take that opportunity and reply to them and say, hey, I like what I'm seeing. Can I put you on my podcast? Right? I'm raising my own hand. Right? It's not always literally about raising your hand either, right? In the first situation I was telling you about, I didn't actually raise my hand. I just said me. I put my name in the hat. And so we're constantly wondering why these things aren't happening. Well, what are you doing to be proactive in that decision making? What are you doing to be proactive to make sure that you control the conversation? And that's ultimately what you're trying to do. You're trying to say, hey, I'm interested in that thing. That's what I want to do. So make sure that you raise your hand. Okay, so that's number one, right? That's how I got invited to the White House. Number two, thank you guys for watching. It really means a lot. Wayne Powers, what's happening? Kevin Copeland, Stanley Sparrow. Stanley, love you, man. Hope you're doing well. Hope you had a good weekend. All of you, I hope you had a great weekend. Let's see. Okay, cover of a magazine. So, here's what happened. So I run a program for my local Chamber of Commerce and the Small Business Development Center, and they got an email about a new magazine coming out called Kova Biz. And Kova Biz, actually, I can find the cover. It's in a box, but aha! I have found it. I'm trying to get too cute with this. I just wanted to prove my point that yes, was on the cover. Bam! There it is. Whoop, there it is. That is the inaugural edition of Kova Biz. So it's a magazine in my backyard. So, here it is. This is to prove that I'm telling the truth. There I am right there. You see me? Woo! You can't see me because there's an overlay, but boom. It's also Deanie and Brendan and Dave and Andrew Rios. And so I get this email from Angela Blue, I believe her last name is. And what happens is she says, hey, Jim Carroll, the Small Business Development Center, I am the new publisher of a new magazine called Kova Biz, and we're looking for small businesses to feature. Do you know who would be a good fit? And then Jim forwards me the email and says, what companies should we choose? I think you know what I did here. So I get the email and I go, looks like a good opportunity to me. Tyler, Jason, Pamela, V-Man, Victor, what's up, guys? Thank you guys for being here. So, there's the cover of the magazine. I get an email basically saying who would be a good fit. Not Zack. I think this is a good fit for you. More of, hey, who's a good fit? So I take that, and I email Angela. You know what? Let me see if I actually have the email still handy, because that would be great too. So I can give you guys the exact context of what I said. Now, I don't know if I still have this email account, but let's check it out. So we're doing all of this in real time. Angela Blue. If you're watching this, Angela, was my pitch to you good? All right. Here it is. I lied. I'm getting close. So, I email Angela Blue. Here we go. So she says, I'm the editor-in-chief for Coastal Virginia Magazine. Hey, Jim. Good afternoon, Jim. I'm the editor-in-chief of Coastal Virginia Magazine. We're launching a brand new publication in June called COVID Biz. It's a business magazine, yada, yada, yada. In our inaugural issue, we're looking to feature 15 businesses, varying in type of city. I'm wondering if you'd be able to point me in the right direction. I get an email from Jim. Jim says, basically, hey, who could be a good fit here? So, here's my exact email to them. I want you guys to see that this is exactly how I do it. Angela, you should check out Hatch. That's my business. We've been around for a few years, and then I put the link there, and have focused on helping companies get off the ground and grow in quite a unique way. We want them to be the anomaly. Think of Hatch as a gym for entrepreneurs. We focus on startup companies, usually napkin to 3-year-old, and have worked with thousands since inception. Now, we've changed a little since then, but this is what I said on March 30th of 16. Our latest product, 1004, is an online video content library. Think Netflix for business. And then I put the link. And then I said, I also host a weekly business show, Hampton Roads Business Weekly, which I have been nominated as a top reporter for in their other publication called Cova Virginia or something, Cova Magazine. We'd love to be one of the 15 companies, so you have to get the ask in there. We'd love to be one of the 15 companies featured in the awesome new Cova Biz. Stroke their ego a little bit. Happy to provide more details as needed. Thanks for your time. And then me. She responds, thanks, Zack. Spelled incorrectly. Z-A-C-H. It's okay. Still appreciate it. Because look, still got on there. Thanks, Zack. One of our freelancers actually suggested you as well, so I'd like to consider it. I'm finalizing my list this week and will be in touch. Well, we know what happened because not only did I get the article, but we also got the cover. What did I do? I took an opportunity that did not necessarily look exactly like, hey, we need to promote, this is a way to promote yourself. But I looked at that and I said, I can position this as I should be one of those 15 businesses. And clearly it was the right idea. Clearly it was the right concept because I took this idea. And the reason I'm telling you is this way is because it's that whole story of, oh, if we pray and we hope that this thing happens, this was the opportunity that was given to me. And I spun it in the way to say, hey, look what else I could do with this. And clearly, it worked, right? And now I can position myself and say, not only did I have an article written about me, but my business was on the inaugural edition of this magazine. That's pretty freaking cool. Bam! Appreciate you guys being here. Patrick Frank, long time. How's the barbecue joint? Things going well there. How's your boy? Stanley Sparrow says, Zack, with my business, in which arena should you suggest me raising my hand in? Every single opportunity. You have to, raising your hand is also about thinking of creative ideas and creative ways to be seen. So, just like I just walked you through that story, think about how that could have happened for you. But you're just not leveraging or sharing that scenario in the same kind of way. Now, again, number one was who could be, so how did I get invited to the White House? Who could be a good fit for this organization? Not asking me to be it, but I raised my hand. Number two, hey, Zack, what businesses should be in the 15? Not, hey, Zack, Hatch is one of those 15. Both times, I turned into opportunities for my business and my brand. If you want to be seen, you have to put yourself out there. Even if the person is asking you specifically, hey, we want this to be you, guess what? Oftentimes they don't say it. So you have to put yourself in the scenario. Because if you don't, someone else is going to take it. Y'all ready for number 3? One of my favorite stories in the world. Thank you guys so much for watching. So I host a TV show on ABC called Hampton Roads Business Weekly. Well, it used to be called Hampton Roads Business Weekly. Now it's called Connect. So I host this TV show. And maybe I have a video of it. Let's see. You know what? You guys see enough of that. We don't need to show that. So I host this weekly business show called Connect. And the story of how this happened. So Jeremy Alessi owns a business called Tunnel Traffic. Tunnel Traffic is an app, I believe only iPhone. If it's on the Android, I apologize, Jeremy. And he's a member of 1004 and said, hey, I think I want to sell this, or I want to find someone to give us some more money for it. And I said, cool. Who do you think could be a good fit? And he says, well, maybe like a newspaper or a TV station. I said, oh, cool. I am on a committee, or like a board with the president of the ABC. Let me reach out to her and we'll get lunch or something. So it ends up, I email, her name's Carrie Jacobs, and I said, hi, Carrie. I hope you're doing well. There's a business, Tunnel Traffic, with Jeremy Alessi. We'd love to pick your brain about a couple of things. Can we get together? She said yes. So we get breakfast at my favorite place with Phil Decker, D-Egg. And we kind of go over the concept of, here's Tunnel Traffic. We think the TV station should like it. Would you want to buy it or use it, whatever? Hey, Justin, hope you're doing well. And so we're sitting there and getting really good feedback, actually, on the concept. The TV station's actually using it on their traffic, like in the morning about traffic. They're like, oh, check out Tunnel Traffic. So they were already using the product, which is kind of cool. And by the way, I have, other than him being a member of my 1004 platform, I have zero affiliation with Jeremy, meaning I don't own the business. I'm just there. I'm helping someone. And so we pitched the idea, and she kind of was like, no, this isn't going to work. Or it was too expensive, or we didn't understand how they acquire things, stuff like that. But she gave us some ideas on some people who could potentially buy it, and that was really, really cool, and that was helpful. So then she goes, if you guys like this, feel free to share it. Just go to the share button and share it, because I love telling this story. And if you guys have questions, feel free to ask as well. So she then goes, well, now that I have you guys here, because we're drinking our coffee at D-Egg. Now that I have you guys here, let me ask you a question. I'm new to being the general manager and president of the ABC, and there's a new concept that I'm working on. It's a business show. And it would be like a Sunday morning business show every Sunday at like 9 o'clock. What do you think? And I said, well, TV is great and all, but I think it should be an internet-based show. And her response is, well, we're a TV station, so it's going to be a TV show. But I still believe it should be an internet-based show, even to this day. And so we go over the concept. She asked me a little bit more of, I say, I probably shouldn't be like these other shows. They're boring. I think it should have some sort of like funk to it. It should have some sort of like a slice of something different, right? I'm a different person, whatever, The show should not be standard like everything else. So if you just get someone in a suit getting up there going, hello, how are you? It's not going to be very compelling. It's not going to be great. We want to make sure to interview as many people as possible in long form. And I think that could be great. Pam Smith. How can I get on your Connect show, a.k.a. raising my hand? Well, you just did. So I'll be in contact. I have to pitch it to someone else, though. So, but stay tuned, Pam. Hope you're doing well. Also, Pam, I called you and you never called me back. So, putting that out on you. So I'm giving some feedback on the idea. She then goes, well, we're thinking about host. Who do you think could be a good host? We're thinking about host. Who could be the host? What do you think I did? Bam! And I think actually in this case I actually raised my hand. I said, what about me? And her reaction was fantastic. She was like, what? What did I just get myself into? What did I get myself into? What? No. Sorry, Zach, it's not going to be you. Well, we talked a little bit more, and I said, and actually, this is great. So Jeremy then goes, oh, Zack, yeah, you have a huge following. This would be great, and it wouldn't be the same as everyone else. So then, like, I had this validator right next to me, this validation next to me, and she's just, you could just tell she's like, this is not happening. This is not going to happen. So then we continue the conversation and we kind of let it go. But then we wrap up, and I say, hey, thank you again for meeting with us. She foots the bill, which is nice of her. Thank you again for that, Carrie. And then I go, I really am interested in this TV show. So I think you should consider me. So I then go back to my office. So I'm going to tell you about the sequence of events now, right? So this opportunity comes up. I raise my hand. It is not an immediate yes, but you know how the story ends. So I get back to the office, and I email her, and I say, hey, Carrie, thanks again for lunch. Really would like to be considered for this show or help you guys out with the show. Week goes by. Hey, Carrie, hope you're doing well. Think I should be considered for this show. And I had to do it like 3 or 4 times. Then I finally get a phone call from her. Actually, it was an email. And she basically was like, hey, there's an event going on in town. We're going to send a photographer. We want you to get all the, we want you to basically put together a segment. It was called the EO Expo, Entrepreneur Organization. It was held at the local university, Old Dominion University. And what happened was I showed up and basically became host, became reporter. And this was my test run. And so what happens is I'm there all day. I was expecting to be there for like an hour. I was there all day. The TV crew doesn't show up until like 4. So we actually only shoot for like an hour. But I was there all day. And I set up interviews. I set up everything. And I was prepared. And so it's come to my attention now that this was a test and that there was spies there that basically said, oh, he was good at this. Whatever risk you had associated towards him, you should not worry about anymore. And that's great. So then I learned that back at the station, there was a lot of asterisks around my name because I wasn't the standard. I wasn't the status quo. I wasn't the male anchor in a suit type of guy. And then I learned that one of the partners of the show, Regent University, had also kind of even just said, hey, think about Zack Miller. And I had zero affiliation with Regent at that point, but they knew about me. So all these like negatives that are there, hey, Nicole Torella, hope you're doing well. All these negatives that were there, I had to spin into positive ones. And I did that by reassuring and proving myself. And so oftentimes that road, that those opportunities on that road don't come naturally, don't just come. So I had to raise my hand and I had to push and hustle and grind my way to get what I wanted. And again, I'm running a business at this point. I have no idea how much time this show is going to take of my time. I have no idea how much money I'm going to make on this show. Am I going to make money on this show? What are they going to expect of me? But I continue to go down this path. My thought is raise your hand, and then if you realize that it's not a good fit, you can say no later. And so I still believe that. Like if this wasn't going to be what I wanted it to be, I could just take my name out of the hat. But you never get into the hat if you don't put your name in it. If you don't raise your hand. And so raising your hand is insanely important. And so I then get a call from Carrie, and she's like, okay, let's do this. So it's like a month later, 45 days later, and I finally get the, hey, we think this is okay. Then I have to, we have to like talk about money. So I do get paid. We have to talk about money, a contract, all this kind of stuff. And then there was one more little thing I wanted in the scenario. What do you think it was? What do you think the last little notch was for me getting this show? It was my request. What do you think it was? If you guys think you know what it is, feel free to put it in the comments below or to the left or right or wherever it is on Facebook these days. But what do you think that scenario is? What do you think that last thing is that I request before I sign the contract? What do you think it is? You probably are not going to guess this one. So, I look at Carrie, who I've now convinced that I'm the right fit. I've now convinced her that I have a place on the show. Hampton Roads Business Weekly, formerly, but now it's called Connect. I tell her I don't want to wear a suit. I say, I've built up my following being myself and being genuine. I don't own a suit. At the time, I probably didn't own a suit. And I want to stay genuine to that because I think it's important. And I want to wear jeans and a t-shirt. So I work all this time trying to get on, and then I throw in a caveat, then I throw in an asterisk, I throw in this is also my request now. And it was, I want to stay true to the Zack Miller brand. And if you've ever seen the show, I got what I wanted. Appreciate you guys watching. It's episode 6 of Zack Miller Live. We got the new logo over there. Bam! Somewhere over there. There it is, right there. Like that. It's a cell phone. My head. And a little red dot because we're recording. Do you like that? I came up with that concept. Dave Ritt designed it because Dave Ritt makes me look better. He did the belt as well. And the egg. So, if you want an action to happen, you have to create that action. If you want to be seen, what do you have to do? You have to raise your hand. If you don't raise your hand, guess what? You will never be seen. So those are the stories. That's the trick. The trick is raise your hand, right? That's the trick that led me to hosting a TV show, being on the cover of a magazine, and being invited to the White House. And I shared with you exactly how I did it. I appreciate you guys' time right now being with me. And thank you. Means the world. Pamela says, say what? I never saw that you called. I will call you. I even left a voicemail. Not exactly sure what happened there. Pam. But it's okay. I will accept your apology. Appreciate you guys' time. So that's it. That's the opportunities. And I want to let you guys know about this too. So we're going to do this show likely daily, weekdays, right? Got to have a weekend with the family. And what we're going to do is it's not always going to be about talks like this. Sometimes it's more like predictions, like on Friday, right? So what are some ideas that you guys have for me to talk about? Maybe it'll be a sports episode. Maybe it'll be a business episode. Maybe it'll be a cryptocurrency episode. I'm also going to have guests. We're going to start having guests soon. I don't know if you guys know this, but I got some cryptocurrency as a what do you call this? So in return for services, so someone, instead of paying me cash, paid me in kind of crypto. So I have a little bit of that now. That's interesting. So we'll probably have an episode on that. Oh yeah, and Wednesday is the big day, the big reveal. So on this page, we have the big announcements coming at 9:27 a.m. I will absolutely post this and pin it to the top because I want you guys to be with me on Wednesday morning, 9:27 Eastern Standard Time. The big event, the big announcement. What do you think it is? You got a lot of people anticipating what it is. Boom, there's the big event. I just posted it in the comments. I'm going to like it and pin it so it stays at the top. But what do you think it is? Also, what type of content, what are things that you would show up to? What are things, concepts that you would like me to talk about? Maybe you'll do experiments. Maybe we'll do a Netflix edition where we talk about shows. Maybe we'll do a Lost edition, my favorite TV show of all time. Maybe we'll do the Office edition, right? Nothing's going to hold us back here at Zack Miller Live because, look, we want to have fun here. We want to help people. We want to engage with people and provide you guys the content that you are looking for. So, hit us up in the comments and let us know what you're looking for. Maybe you want to see me in a WWE-like match. That's unlikely. Maybe you want me to do a day full of just play-by-plays. That would be fun. But whatever it is, let me know what you guys want me to do, and I'll do it. Appreciate y'all being with us today. If you guys liked what you saw, be sure to tune in every day. We don't have a specific time to do this yet. We're just throwing it up sometime between 9 and 7 every weekday. Well, at some point, we'll have a regular time for it so you guys can expect it. But right now, we're testing out different times to figure out what works and what doesn't. Is this time good for you? You know, the 11:30 time frame? Maybe it is. Maybe it's 9 o'clock. Maybe it's the 9:27 time frame. Maybe it's 2:30. We're going to be bringing on guests soon. Super excited about that. A ton of different concepts we're working on as well. Zack Miller Live. It's episode 6. Getting a lot of, got a big budget here. We got the new logo up there. I mean, this is exciting times. If you are a fan of what you see, make sure to give this a like, a love. Actually, commenting too is really important according to the Facebook algorithms. And obviously, would love a share if you think this is fun as well. Appreciate y'all watching. It is so, so nice of you. And until tomorrow, when we have episode 7 and a topic unknown yet, I hope you all have wonderful days. Make sure to sign up for the big announcement Wednesday morning, 9:27. The big announcement, it's coming. Until tomorrow, appreciate your time. This is Zack Miller, Zack Miller Live, saying peace.